morning, third grade. Today I want to talk to you about the English that you're going to be working on today. Today's English is page 149, and it's about diagramming subjects, verbs, and adjectives. Now, you've already worked on diagramming subjects and verbs, so remember that we put the subject on the left-hand side of our diagram, and we put the verb on the right-hand side of our diagram. When we go to diagram the adjectives that describe the subject, they come off in our diagonal lines coming off of the subject. So let's look at our first sentence today. Our example up here says, mark the sentence. So first of all, we need to find our subject and verb. In the sentence, the white snow fell on the mountains. We see that our subject is, that's right, snow. So I'm going to underline that once. And what action is the snow doing? What's the verb in our sentence? That's right, fell. That's our verb. Then we need to draw our up and down vertical line in between our subject and verb right here. Now that we've marked our subject and verb, next we need to mark any adjectives that are in this sentence. So are there any words describing the snow? That's right. White is describing snow, and the is describing snow. I'm going to circle those adjectives and draw a neat arrow to snow to say that they are describing the snow. Now it's time to diagram them. So we've marked the sentence, we've circled the adjectives that describe the subject and drawn a small neat arrow from each adjective to the noun it describes. Now it's time to diagram this sentence. So I'm going to write my subject on the subject side, the left-hand side, so snow. I'm going to write my verb on the verb side or the right side, fell. And now my two adjectives that are describing my snow, I'm going to write on the diagonal lines coming off of my snow. So we've got the, and we've got white. Now let's take a look at our second sample sentence. Our second sample sentence is, the big tall tree towered over the forest. Once again, we need to mark our sentence first. So we need to underline our subject once. And what is the subject of this sentence? That's right, tree. I'm going to underline that once. Now what's the verb? What's the action that our tree is doing? That's right, towered. Tree towered. So finally, I need to draw an up and down line in between our subject and our verb. Now, are there any adjectives describing the tree? That's right. Tall tree, big tree, and the tree. So three adjectives that are describing our subject tree. Now to diagram them on my lines. So first of all, my subject goes on the subject side. Tree goes on the left side for the subject. Towered goes on the right side for the verb. And notice how this line that goes in between them looks very similar to this up and down line that we put in between them. We put this line here in between the actual sentence to help us remember where our subject and our verb go when we diagram them. Now, to put my adjectives on the lines, I've got the, big, and tall. As you work through your paper today, finding the subject, verb, and the adjectives that are describing the subject, remember to look very carefully for the words that are describing the subject. Subject goes on the subject side, verb goes on the verb side of our diagram, and those adjectives, the words describing the subject, go on the diagonal lines coming off of the subject.